Are you one of the people who believe that you need more ideas to make more money? What if that the truth actually is that all you need to do is just go deeper with that one idea? Okay, hold on. I'm going to take you there. Years ago, I had one idea, and it turned into mindset coaching, into digital content, into simple PDFs, into workbooks, mini courses, coaching, availability and sessions, programs, online, lives. Before I knew it, that one concept, that one idea had positioned me to be able to generate revenue from 5 different streams. But it was really still the one idea. And of course, the idea is the podcast. The podcast, I'm able to transform and reuse or revise content in a way, or use the same content in different ways. And so if you are someone who believes that, hey, I need all these different ideas in order to generate different streams of money, that's not necessarily the case we're going to talk about today. So if you've been stuck thinking that you need to start something new every single time that you want to make additional money, this episode is completely for you, and it's going to change the way that you create and the way that you believe you need to create. Impactful content becomes profitable content. Again, impactful content becomes profitable content when it is strategic and it is repurposed. And that's what we're going to talk about today. We are on our 30 days to manifestation and monetization. Yesterday was day 17, and we talked about starting before you're ready. The day before that, obviously, day 16, solve, don't sell. So we're really getting into the meat of creating your content, identifying your primary stakeholders, your customers, potential customers. And today is a really good day to be a part of the podcast, because how do I turn one idea into 5 different streams of income? How do I do that without killing myself or working myself into the grave? And listen, as I'm talking about this, I'm actually going through this. Okay, this is our second or third series where we've done a 30-day type of approach. And this 30 days, and I'm going to talk about it later. I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me welcome the folks in first. First timers, welcome in. Where you been? You've got 4 of the seasons to get caught up on. We've got some really good content here. We're glad to have you here today. And like I said before, we're in the midst of a series, so you picked a really good time to join us. Don't forget to subscribe or like or do whatever you need to do to stay in touch with us. Make sure that you don't forget who we are and where we are. Old timers, as always, thank you guys so much for supporting the podcast. You guys are awesome. You guys are the foundation of the podcast. You are the group that keeps us going. And no matter what city you're in, we appreciate the fact that you listen to us all over the globe. And the show notes. The show notes are super important. I want you to go into the show notes each week. Take a look and see what's there that you can use. There are digital products that are there that can support you from time management to weight loss. There are coaching items that are there from, personal development all the way to group development, things like that. There are journals that are there that can help you to kind of keep track, digital and actual handheld journals that can help you in terms of gratitude, keeping up with your goals. The digital journals, one in particular, the workbook, is able to help you get through this 30-day period, this manifestation and monetization period that we're talking about. And of course, ultimately, we're going to end up with a product or a service that we're going to be really, really proud of, we're very passionate about, and most importantly, that is helping people and also helping us from being monetized. That's where we're going. So if you want to ride that train with us, get on board. We are a little over halfway there. So we're at day 18. And this is the first time you've heard of this, so you got 17 days to get caught up on. But listen to today first, and then go back and see how much you can listen to from day 1. But join us again tomorrow as we get into day 19. All right, day 18. Day 18. There's a lot to be said about this idea that you can repurpose your same content across platforms to be able to create additional revenue streams. And that means attacking different audiences or creating different audiences, servicing different audiences on different platforms, but using some of the same content in a repurposed way. So here's the opportunity. The biggest mistake that creators make is that they move on from a great idea so quickly, too quickly. So instead of multiplying a winning idea, they just simply start over with a fresh new idea. Now, it's a great thing that you're having these great ideas and they keep coming, in plentiful ways. But let's make sure we're not, to use a proverbial term, let's make sure we're not leaving money on the table. Let's make sure that we're maximizing the idea. Okay, we're squeezing all of the juice out of the orange. So, missed opportunities, what does that look like? You post valuable content once, but you never turn it into a lead magnet. You post valuable content once, but you never turn it into a lead magnet. Or you teach a great lesson live, but you don't record it and you don't package it, and therefore you can't resell it. All right. You help a client through a breakthrough, but you never build a product around it. Okay, these are missed opportunities. What's the result? Well, you could get burned out. There's inconsistent income, if any, and there's wasted brilliance because we don't have any of this stuff documented. We don't have it packaged. We don't have it in a format that we can tell others about and also reproduce or sell. The opportunity is to take one message, one method, one framework, and stretch it across multiple touch points, multiple platforms, different audiences. When it's done right, here's what it looks like. It's more scalable. Your business, that is, it's more scalable, multiple passive opportunities, and your active income sources stay relevant. And then also a stronger brand identity. As you grow across these touch points, across these platforms, your brand also grows. So the income from alignment, not overload. It is something that I'm learning, quite honestly, because when we first started doing the podcast, I wasn't doing video. Podcasting at its core is if you think about it, podcasting started off as an audio type of content, and then YouTube. A lot of people got into recording themselves doing their podcast, and then it became a visual component to it, and then I guess arguably now, depending on who you believe, the video component is just as large as the audio component. Now, what's the complexities of doing a podcast and recording? Well, probably what you think. It's more difficult to record audio. It is easier to record your audio version, upload it, and then send it out to your audience a lot easier than it is to do the audio and the video. Depending on how your setup is, your audio and your video are being recorded separately, because they're going to different places. So that means when you get ready to send your your video somewhere, you have to go in and edit it down to your audio because your audio is the cleanest. So let's say, for example, today I've got this really high powered mic, and if you guys are on YouTube, you can see me talking into it, and it makes me sound, professional and really good. You can hear my voice is very clean. If I was just recording this on my cell phone, or if I was just recording this from my camera mic, it's not going to sound as good. Okay. So again, I started with audio because this was just purely a podcast. When I upgraded to video, I now have a DSLR connected to my station, and that is recording video, which is really good video, but the audio is not great. So what do I have to do at some point? I have to combine those. My whole point in telling you part of my process is that it makes the recording process longer. And so while I think it's necessary because I want the best quality for my listeners and for my viewers, it is a longer process for me to be able to edit it down and put it up on the platforms for you to see, hear, to see or hear it. Now, everybody's process isn't the same. Some similarities, I'm sure, but I actually forgot why I was telling you all this. But at the end of the day, what you want to do is to ensure that you can repurpose as much as possible what you are doing. So years ago, I started a company. It was a production company. and we were doing videos. Okay, that means, I don't know, any video, wedding videos. We were doing music videos. We were doing even church type consulting. We would do videos for churches. It's a big deal, churches to be on TV at one point. It probably still is now. But I cut my teeth doing all of that type of videography work. So I began to understand the impact of lighting, of sound and video. Everything works together, right? So, at that point, though, there was no YouTube and no TikTok and none of that kind of stuff. Okay, people were really not even doing podcasts. But I garnered the skill set in such a way that I said, okay, at some point I knew I could revert back to it. So for me, it's not super difficult to do a setup where I'm editing, because I'm sort of a one-stop shop. Now, if I want to do things faster and we kind of really, really blow up and I'm doing all of these great things, maybe I go to a consultant, or maybe I go to an end user or someone that can produce my videos for me while I'm just pumping them out, and they can edit them and produce them. But I'm not at that point, because the way that I set up, and I'm suggesting you do the same thing, and this is assuming you're doing, actual video or audio content creation. You could be doing something different, and therefore your process is different, but the method is still the same. Whatever you do it in a way that is maximizing your exposure and extending your brand. That is to say, figure out a schematic, a way that you can use whatever you're producing. If you're producing a course, you should be able to create a mini course out of it, a full course. You should be able to do a lead magnet. You should be able to do content creation for your social media platforms. You should be able to use snips and bits of your course to create 5 other things. All right. And we're going to get into how we do that. Here's the solution: the 5-stream framework for monetizing one single idea. And this probably is going to lean a little heavy upon content creators. So entrepreneurs and folks who have different types of shops, then just use your imagination in terms of how I could use the same methodology, but apply it to my product or service. Okay. So step 1. What's the core idea? Define it. What is your core idea? And you can, choose the one that works for you. Choose an idea that has, number 1, proven interest. That means it can be highly engaging or is completely in demand. And the top 3 areas, and they've really kind of always been that way, and we talked about a few podcasts ago, are relationships, finance, and health and wealth. Health and wellness, I should say. Relationship, finance, and health and wellness. Those are usually the top 3 areas that are always in demand. Choose one that has personal transformation tied to it, something that you have lived through, something that you personally can speak to in a very strong way. Also choose something that there are clear benefits to others. Crystal clear benefits. Weight loss is one of those things that's crystal clear. You're losing weight. Everybody can see it. You can see it. Everybody knows it. Clear benefits. Okay. Peace of mind, increased monetary value to your accounts and stuff like that. An example would be healing emotional eating. So the first thing you want to do is define the core idea. The second thing is break it into a signature framework. And here's the piece I really want you to listen to. Outline 3 to 5 steps or pillars that you can use to solve the problem. That can be awareness, triggers, habits, tools, transformation. Awareness, triggers, habits, tools to transformation. This can become the way that you teach, your teaching structure across the platform. Okay, so that's step number 2. Step number 3 is turn it into 5 different offers. You're using the same idea and probably some of the same actual content you created, but you're creating 5 different offers. What does that look like? All right, number 1, a digital product or a mini digital product. That can be a PDF, a simple guide, a checklist, a journal. And so let's go to the idea of emotional healing, emotional eating. Do a digital product that's like emotional eating tracker. Because for some reason, well, not for some reason, I know why. These trackers are very, very popular. Emotional eating trackers. And you can sell those on Etsy, or you can sell it on your website, or a trigger worksheet. Okay? That's number one, digital product. Number two, create a workshop or webinar. One of the entry points, I think, one of the most successful, according to my research, entry points for creating a path for new and potential clients is a webinar. It can be live or recorded. I can't tell you how many times I signed up to webinars myself because it's very interesting. It hits a nerve. It is right in the space where I need it right then. And I listen to it. It's free. It's free to listen to the webinar. There's going to be a pitch or a sale or something on it, and you know that, but you can make up your mind then. But if you are creating a webinar or a workshop, I'm telling you, one of the best ways, one of the most popular ways for entry to get new clients into, at least your idea into your business is a webinar. Here's an example of a webinar for the emotional eating. 3 keys to healing emotional eating, masterclass. Right? These are keywords. These are things that people type in, they Google, and they're trying to find out. Okay. Number 3, course or masterclass series. It's kind of the same as, a mini course, but longer, full course. You can break courses up into different, it can be a group or it can be individual, like what we offer here on the podcast. You can do lives on Saturday. You can do free webinars. You can do a lot of stuff. Masterclass series, the same way. Step-by-step guides to help people to learn from experience. Here's an example. 4-week program breaking down the full process. There's a 4-week program that, let's say you haven't had success in losing weight. And I'm going to take you through personally, because I've lost weight. I'm going to take you through 4 weeks of a program that I personally have done that I've lost weight on. I guarantee that will resonate with a lot of people who are really looking to lose weight. Number 4, one-on-ones or group coaching. I kind of alluded to that already, but one-on-one or group coaching. You can personalize the support. That means if you're someone who's looking to lose weight, there's no difference between you hiring a fitness coach and you hiring a masterclass type of coach or a life coach person that's been through what you've been through, that helps you get through and to your achievement or your goal. To me, I sort of see it as like putting money into therapy. I equate it on that level because I think that's very valuable, and everybody needs to get therapists at some point in their lives. So to hire a coach to provide your services out as a coaching type of service, you may think, well, Kelly, I've never coached anyone. Well, have you experienced this? Have you successfully matriculated through this process? And can you communicate well and talk to people? You obviously don't want to get out there and not be effective in coaching. If that's what you're selling, you should be effective because you don't want bad word of mouth. So to ensure that you're prepared, you should educate yourself on what good coaching looks like before you offer it out there. Here's an example from what we were talking about earlier. 30-day coaching intensive with weekly check-ins. 30-day coaching intensive with weekly check-ins. And the last thing are templates and toolkits. These are done for you resources. The reason why I keep talking to you about going to our digital store, downloading our workbook and things like that, these are resources for you. They're going to benefit you. And if you're into development, self-development, or in our case here, we're talking about weight loss, then daily affirmations about weight loss can be a part of that toolkit. Habit trackers, I've already said that before, can be a part of that toolkit. Habit reset templates, ways to identify when you're going kind of off the rails, if you will. Documenting your diet and your days that you exercise, all of that, this is a system. So create habits, and healthy habits come from systematic work and approaches. So if you can create templates and toolkits for people that, especially if they can't create it for themselves, that can be very advantageous to them. Let's go into number 4, step 4. Layer content to support each other. Layer content not only to support each other, lay it to support each offer. So use one idea, but generate a blog post, generate email, generate podcast episodes, and generate Instagram Reels or TikTok or whatever your social medias are. And you probably should be doing all of them. But you can use the one idea and post it across all of the platforms. And here's a little insight. This is how visibility feeds sales. Depending on the responses and engagement you get, perhaps you get no engagement on your email, but you get a ton of quick responses through Instagram. Maybe that's your platform you go to for this particular topic and in this way, because if there's engagement, then that's where you tap in and dig deeper. Okay? Maybe nothing on the email, nobody's responding, nobody's buying, but that same offer may be doing great on social media, and Instagram in particular. Okay? So pay attention to where the engagement actually happens so that you know where to continue to dig. Okay? Continue to expand your offer. And then number 5 is automate where possible. This is really important. I always say small business should be specialists in technology, because technology is the part of your business that can make a small business look large, that can really make you, it expands your capacity to do things. And that one particular thing is to respond to your clients and your potential clientele. And so you always want to be available for your customers. So you can offer lead magnets to collect emails. That's technology. Email funnels to offer many products. So once you set it up one time, all that has to happen is someone has to respond to it, and the technology follows up with the email. The technology, the funnel gets the customer deeper and deeper into the funnel until they buy. There's upsells and downsells based on the interest, and of course that's again a technological thing. And then evergreen content to bring traffic daily. Evergreen is a term used to say, okay, this is always something good to do. This is always good practice. So YouTube or Pinterest, you can put stuff out there knowing it's going to live forever in a digital space. And whether you created it this year or last or 5 years ago, particularly like with YouTube, people were getting paid on videos they did 7 or 8 years ago. Maybe 7 or 8 years ago, you only had a few thousand followers. And now, you really, the algorithm gods have smiled on you, and you've gotten the plaques, and you're up over in the, 6-figure type of followers. Well, if someone goes back and watches a video from 8 years ago, you're still going to get credit for that. And that's evergreen. That's something that's always going to pay you residually. Okay. So let's do a summary real quick. We were talking about here on day 18, turning one idea into 5 different streams of income. One idea, 5 streams of income. And what I've recently just gone over with you was ways to do that. And those ways include defining the core idea, breaking it into a signature framework, turning that idea into 5 offers, layering your content to support each offer, and then lastly, automate where possible. You don't need a new idea. You need to revitalize your approach. And listen, I'm talking to myself as much as I am to you listeners, because when we first started the podcast, we were learning. I was learning how to actually podcast and make good content where people want to listen to it. And then you have to not only be a good podcaster and a good researcher, but you got to figure out a way to monetize this thing. I mean, do you want to just podcast forever and never be able to, reap any reward in terms of monetization? And plus, how do you grow? You need resources. So I quickly began to learn that I have to be the a person that is going to spearhead this idea of monetizing this podcast. So 30 days of this and that came up, courses came up, really being able to be effective on our social media are things that all I'm talking to you about today, everything I'm talking to you about today, I've actually done, and we're seeing some really, really good results. Our brand is expanding, our footprint is expanding, and we're seeing really good results because we're starting to practice this stuff on a regular basis. I wouldn't be telling you this if this wasn't effective. So whatever your product or service is, I want you to listen to this podcast again. I say it all the time, but this is really, really key. We're getting to the point of the series where you don't want to miss some of these key areas. And today, this podcast, this particular idea of being able to layer that one idea over multiple platforms in different areas and to create up to 5 streams of income using the same content, repurposing the same content. Once you master that, I'm telling you, it begins to multiply because your activity, your effort, your ideas, you get all that stuff in sync. And after a while, things start to it's no longer addition. Now it's multiplication. Okay, it's a different ball game. It's no longer checkers. This is chess now. And I really want you to hear me again. So listen to the podcast one more time. Just remember, your ideas get much, much more reach, more resonance, and more revenue without being burnt out if you can attack or, use this method of approach. I want to say attack, this method of approach. List out all your content themes for the past month. Pick one post, pick 1-2 posts, or a lesson, if you will, that got really good engagement. Turn it into a short guide. Turn it into a checklist. Outline how you teach this in a 3-step workshop for other content creators. Share a reel, share a live, share a story that introduces your audience to this particular concept. Okay, these are ways that you can just begin to multiply your idea, begin to think higher. I want this to be the starting point for you to start thinking deeper and higher about the value that you bring and how you can reach more people. And I'll just say it again. It's got to be multiplication, no more addition. No more 1 + 1 + 1. This has got to be multiplication. Each time you do something, it's 5 × 5 × 5. Okay. All right. Learned a lot myself today. I know you did as well. Catch us tomorrow. Tomorrow's day 19. Day 19, our topic is create with soul, share with strategy. Create with soul, share with strategy. You interested in knowing what that means? Tune in tomorrow and I'll be here and we'll talk about it. Thanks, guys.